What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely day? It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try in the building with me.
Yep.
And today we are going to count down our top 20 hip hop albums of 1994.
Yes.
Yes. Excuse me. Another equally good year. Pretty much up there with 93 as part of some of my favorite years in hip hop and stuff like that. Of course, I had to make this like a top 20 as well too. So yeah, man. Without further ado, I feel like we should start the shit. All right, my number 20. I'm gonna take it to the West Coast right now and stuff like that. This guy was that was one of hip hop's best producers in G with regulate G Funk era. Very dope album. You know, the album pretty much. I'm gonna be real. It's a death row album, but at the same time, they didn't. He had to go to Def Jam and stuff like that because Legend has a Dre didn't want Warren G mixed up with that kind of culture and stuff like that too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, man. And then of course Suge Knight wanted to play a part like business wise, but then Chris Lighty came into the picture. Saved Warren G and stuff like that. And the rest is history. So when it comes to the album definitely is like a West Coast classic. Got a lot of dope grooves. Got a lot of dope grooves and stuff like that too. Everyone knows the title track "Regulate." You know what I'm saying? That's a very dope track. Utilize the Michael McDonald sample. Do
Yep.
you see? I love that track. This DJ, that's actually my favorite song off this album.
That's my drink.
Yeah, Super Soul Sis. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? A lot of fans call this his best album.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I love this album, but I'm more for I Want It All in '99. I feel like
I
that's his
want it all. That was great.
shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
I bounced back from the second album. 'Cause I didn't like the second album too much.
you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the second album, it was good. It wasn't great. It grew on me a
Right.
little bit in
Right.
recent
Right.
years and shit. But I do hear you. In comparison, I do find that to be his weakest. I even like Return of the Regulator from '01 too.
I never heard that joint.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
See,
I gotta get
yo,
that.
yeah, Warren got heat though. People be
Yes.
sleeping on Warren and shit.
Facts. Facts.
But yeah, that's my number 20.
All right. My number 20 is my number 20. Number 20 is this man right here. Method Man to Cal.
Okay.
Very underwhelming album when it first came out. I was expecting the big radio friendly joints and the collabs, and we didn't get that. We did get some collabs. It just wasn't the ones I was expecting. We got Meth vs. Chef for Raekwon, classic joint. I wish they did a video for that. PLO style with Carlton Fisk, Mr. Sandman, real gritty track. Spectre Decker's on that joint. The title track to Cal, Bring the
Okay.
Pain. You know, um, All I Need.
I was just bumping that today too.
Yes, I like the original, but the one with Mary, that's the one everybody know. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That was great remix by RZA, and it's a dope album. It just when it first came out, was like, this wasn't the album I was expecting. It was darker. The production was real gritty. I was expecting more of a mainstream sound from Meth, because he was like looked at as the heartthrob from Wu-Tang Clan at that time, but definitely one of the best solo albums, especially when you look back at his discography now, with all the crap that he came out with after the first two albums. Definitely his best album, his first two, in my opinion. You know,
Yes. Nice way to kick off the list.
yeah,
All right. My number 19 is something from the South. I'm gonna go with Big Mike with something serious.
okay,
And this is a Rap a Lot album. You know what I'm saying? Very dope album. Big Mike He was a replacement member of Willie D from the Getter Boys. He came out with his first solo album and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say this is pretty much his best selling album because I know his other albums didn't really reach a lot of commercial heights and stuff like that. But I haven't heard Still Serious and all them. I
Mm-hmm.
have to hear those one day. So, but
Right.
this album to me, I fucking love this one. You know what I'm saying? Fucking playa, dun dun dun, dun playa. I love that song. Having things with Pimp C, one of Pimp C's illest productions and stuff like that. That's the thing. People sleep on Pimp C when it comes to his
Mm.
beats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I love the production he did on those first two UGK albums and stuff like that too.
Mm.
I liked Riding Dirty, but I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like it kind of gets a bit overhyped, but I'm gonna save that story for another day and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, Daddy's Gone with Scarface was pretty dope. Of course, produced by N.O. Joe. Creepin' Rollin', The World of Mind. I mean, this whole fucking album is just fucking gangsta as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my hands like I'm trying to sort out some albums I'm trying to get. Once we do these
Yeah.
lists, I'm trying to sort out some albums I'm trying to get on Amazon. So that way, I
Right.
won't just buying shit just to buy shit.
Facts. All right. Number 19 for me is Craig Mack, Project Funk the World.
Dope.
Great album from Craig Mack. Rest in peace. And he was like the underground, rap artist on Bad Boy that time, and coming out at the same time as Biggie, who was more mainstream, and Craig did his thing. He produced the album mostly with him and Moby, and he gave us a masterpiece with this album. Flavor in Your Ear to me is the best rap song of 1994. That was everywhere when that joint came out, and yeah, I've heard like R&B singers on that beat. I've heard reggae artists on that beat. Just a classic hip hop record. Get Down was equally as good.
Get
You
down.
know, love
Get
the remix for that with a Q-Tip on that remix. Um, yeah, making moves with Puff. Right, the only track that Puff Daddy was a part of on that album, and I applaud Craig Mack for not having Puff heavily involved on that album. You know,
it was trash.
when God Comes was a banger.
Yes.
Um, yeah, man, like he definitely killed it production wise, and even the way that he rhymed was just different. Like nobody sounded like him. He had his own style, and it's a shame we didn't get more of that classic stuff from him. Definitely will be sorely missed, and I've always loved this album. I need to get this album again. I had it before, and I messed it up, but I definitely need to get this first album from Mac. So,
Yeah, man. This is definitely a very underrated album from Craig and shit.
yeah,
My number 18 though, speaking of underrated, I gotta go with Public Enemy's Music and Our Message.
so
hmm to me, the most slept on album in their discography.
hmm
A lot of people kind of shit on this album, you know what I'm saying? Because this was released at a time when gangster rap was really like becoming more and more prominent and hardcore and shit
right,
like that too. But this album has some of Public Enemy's most complex songs and stuff like that. Um, it's my fault. There was eyelash stuck in my fucking eyelash. It has some of the most complex songs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think the reason why this album didn't really get like a lot of marketing and promotion, because mind you, the album went still in gold and stuff like that too. And it performed
right,
well, but at that time, Def Jam was moving to Polygram Records at that time too, and so
right,
Public Enemy, it kind of got lost in the shuffle. There's just like a lot of background tensions going around that time too. And then,
right,
Flavor Flav at that time was just getting in trouble with the law a lot, you know what I'm saying? And
hmm
he was getting hooked on drugs around this time too. So they were just going through a lot around this period. But in terms of the songs, I love songs like What Side You On, Stop in the Name, What Kind of Power We Got.
Right.
White Heaven, Black Hell. Like they were the thin line between law and rape, though. Very, very relevant song, especially today.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, this whole album to me is definitely one of the most complex albums. I feel like this album and Apocalypse 91 are two of the most slept on albums in that discography.
Facts. I agree.
Period.
Definitely a great album. Let me see. I got number what we on 18. Number 18. I got the Youngsters, No Mercy. Great album. Love this album.
That's my next
You
one
know,
too.
yeah.
That's
Love
my
love this. The production from K Def and Marley Marl on here, and it was great. And you had House of Hits doing a lot of great albums for people at this time. You know, Lords of the Underground and Royal Renown, and you know a lot even unreleased stuff. You know, so, Sabi, the female rapper from Jersey, and you know I heard a lot of joints played from this album, man. You know when it was before it was released, and listening to college radio, and Stretching Barbito played, you know, a lot of these joints, Reality and Illy Philly Funksters, and you know Hip Hop Ride was the first single. That was a huge joint, and Mad Props, one of my favorite joints on here. You know, Stayed Away with, I love that beat with the Jackson 5 sample, and definitely one of the best youngsters albums. And I love Aftermath from '93, and this one was like my two favorite albums from the group. You know, the first one was cool. I Make You Famous was dope, but the second and third albums for me, man, this really solidified them as a rap group. And again, they don't get a lot of mention when it
They
comes to
don't.
rap groups. I don't know why, but this album to me solidified them in the game, and phenomenal album. You know, all three of them, Karan and Tajay, Tariq, definitely stepped their game up on this album.
Yeah. You know why I think they don't get as much play? Because I feel like
Mm,
it's because when people think the youngsters, they
yeah,
automatically think like kid rappers like Crisscross, Another Bad Creation.
right.
But
But they were better.
they were more lyrical. They wrote their own shit.
Yeah, they were better than them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hell, I honestly would put youngsters like in the same realm as like Lords of the Underground,
yeah,
DOS Effects and shit like that. I don't
yeah.
give a fuck what no one said.
And they did joints with people they did joints
They
with
held their own.
collaborative. Yeah,
They held
P
their own.
Rock and Steel Smooth and the Beat Nuts, and
Naughty by
you know
Nature.
Naughty by Nature. Like they did joints with people. So I don't understand why they don't get that recognition. You know.
Shit. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually my number 17 and whatnot. My opinion, their best album next to the Aftermath and shit like that too. This one they went a bit more darker, and also too. I hate to cut myself off, but they dropped albums yeah they yearly and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Chris
Right.
Cross took three
Mhm.
years from the bomb to Young, Rich, and Dangerous and shit. By the time they came out with that album, no one recognized
Mhm.
them.
Right.
But yeah, man, Hip Hop Ride and Mad Props. Love those beats and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I believe either K Def or Marty Marl did Hip Hop Ride.
That was Marley.
Marley,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah. Cause I played that at during the beat battle.
yeah, okay. Now I remember.
Yeah.
Now, Illy Philly Funk, Grim Reaper was dope and shit like that. People around town. Yeah, man. Shout out to I want to say Hoovy was the one who got me to this album and the aftermath and shit. Cause this album goes for a stupid amount of money too. So
Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah,
Yep. Okay. Number 17, I got Keith Murray, The Most Beautifulest Thing in the
the
World.
coolest thing in this world.
This is an album I should have always gotten. I don't know why I never got it. I got the single on vinyl. I never bought the album. I don't know why. Definitely one of his best albums. The production by Eric Sermon was great, and he was at that time like one of the best lyricists. Like nobody sounded like him. His wordplay, his syllable use was just on a different level. and being down with Def Squad, that you had Redman, you had Marley G from Illegal, and now you had Keith, and they had like a real formidable crew in rap now, and Eric doing every album, he just was in the zone, and this was a great album. I love the first single, and you know Get Lifted. Love the joint, especially the remix with the Teddy Pendergrass sample. Straight Looney with Jamal and Eric Sermon, that was a banger. Eric Sermon killed that joint. Um, Escapism was dope. Definitely a Five Mike classic album. Um, Keith, I loved his first three albums. After that, when he went to Def Jam, didn't like that. Don't
Right.
care for that album.
She looked like a
Yeah,
move. He
and
stomped
I was a part of that street
on the
team when
street
when
to
we
you.
I was a part of that street team when he came out. I'm like, this don't even sound like a Keith Murray song. Candy Bar, really? You know what I'm saying? Like that's some shit you would give to like LL Cool J or Ludacris. I didn't think it was made for him. And BT used to play that every day. I remember seeing that video on 106 in Park. That album was bad though. But and anything else after that, I didn't hear nothing else from after that from him. But I know that he had dropped a single, like I want to say like at the start of the pandemic, that he was supposed to do another album produced by Eric. So I don't know what's up with that album. I'm still waiting for that. But his first three albums to me were like his best, and this is definitely a classic.
Yeah, I even love what's the album? It's a Beautiful Thing from '99 too.
Yes, the third album. Yes, I have that one. That one was good. That was a good album.
Yeah, I want to say I got. I don't. I want to say I got that album too. I want to say, but
Definitely slept on. That's a
yeah,
slept on album.
yeah. Keith Murray review. We gotta do them shits too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Number 16. This might come to a surprise to a lot of people. I gotta go Isham Closed Casket.
Mm, dope.
Yeah. Now you guys should know I'm not like the biggest Isham fan, but the shit he did between '94 to '97, that's like my favorite era of him,
Hmm.
especially when he did the fucking Dead Flowers album.
Right,
Very dope and underrated album. Don't get me wrong, I love like what's it, Nadas when they did the joint from '92. What's that fucking shit? Hold up. What's the joint they did in '92 and shit?
I don't know. I'm not familiar. I only heard like one of the album. I heard Dead Flowers. I didn't hear the other stuff from them.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta do my little cheat sheet. Yeah, Life After Death. I like Life
Okay,
After Death. Blaze for me was okay. That was pretty dope, but
right,
Do You Believe in God, man? I'm gonna save that for the '94 5 unless we're gonna do some of the shit. But
all right.
Closed Casket, this was like a transitional album because at this time he was trying not to do like a lot of the horrorcore
Mm-hmm.
shit. He wanted to be like more like braggadocio, storytelling, lyrical kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
this one was a pretty straight album. It had the production kind of had like some G Funk influences and
right,
whatnot. Like I love songs like fucking what's that shit? Make me wanna holler. I love that track where they use the print sample. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You should know the. I'm not going to reveal the print sample, but y'all should know which
Okay.
one. Therapy was pretty dope. Flatline, I love that shit. Drive You to Suicide. Dun 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 dun. I mean,
Mhm.
and each John produces his own everything on this album too, so that's why
Right.
I kind of consider this to be like solo wise my second favorite album from him and shit. Cause Dead Flowers, that's my all time favorite. I need to get my hands on some Isham shit.
Yep. Um, Number 16, I got Heavy D and the Boys Nothing But Love. Classic album. Rest in peace to Heavy D. Um, this album was phenomenal. I saw this. I saw him for the second time in concert when this album came out, and like for a big dude, he danced just as good as his dances, if not better. And it was a great album. Every track on here got me waiting with the Luther Vandross sample produced by Pete Rock. One of my favorite Heavy D songs, Black Coffee, produced by Mo B. Great song. This Is Your Night, produced by Teddy Riley. They sampled the George Benson Give Me the Night joint, fire. You got the Got Me Waiting remix on here with Silk. That was dope. Of course, the title track produced by Kid Capri. Everybody knows that song, Nothing But Love. I got nothing but love for you, baby. Love the video for that. Phenomenal album, man. For now, Marley Marl produced on here, Eric Sermon produced on here. You know, just a five mic classic, and I love most of Heavy D's songs. I don't think he has a whack album. Like I loved most of his albums and the solo stuff he did, and again another rap legend that we lost, gone too soon, but definitely one of my favorite albums from '94.
Yeah, man. That's actually possibly my favorite album from him.
Yes,
Next to
I have so many. Like I want to say it's like a tie because I love Peaceful Journey and the way that they came out with that album for Trouble T. Roy and Big Time was great. Blue Funk underrated. Always loved that album. And like I said, like I don't think this man had a whack album. Like his discography is phenomenal.
yeah, I definitely agree with you. Between this one and
Mhm.
Big Time, those are my favorites. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, we got to finish up the Heavy D and the Boys. All I'm missing is in terms of Heavy D and the Boys is the Blue
Uh-huh.
Funk album,
Yeah.
and of course I'm missing his solo albums too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, he did some reggae stuff too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now this my number 15. We have 15, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, we have 15. Okay. Cocaine, Funk Upon a Rhyme,
So
Ruthless Records, man. Shit. What y'all know about cocaine and shit? You know what I'm saying? The album's fucking expensive as fuck. I need to get my hands on that. But
Mm.
now, technically, the cocaine was not his original name. He went by the moniker Who Am I? And he dropped the album Addictive Hip Hop Music, which I have yet to hear that album. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
This album came out like 3 years later. The album came out in '91. This album pretty much was released at the height of the whole Ruthless and Death Row beef. So they had a couple of songs. Like he had a song called "Don't Fight the Funk," where he pretty much roasted Death Row Records. And I love Death Row. Don't get me wrong, but that might be one of my all-time favorite diss tracks from
Right.
Ruthless
Right.
Records and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what?
Right. No. No. I hear you.
Oh, okay. But the Death Row fanboy gonna be all like, "Oh, you can't talk about Death Row, yada yada." I was like, "Shut the fuck up, man."
Right.
But like, it had some other heat too, like fucking All Bark No Bite with Alcoholics, The Aftermath with Above the Law and Dirt Red, From the Funk to the Back. And honestly, Cocaine has one of my all-time favorite hip hop voices of all time too. And you can't go wrong because Cole 187 did the whole album. He produced the whole album and shit. Cole 187 from Above the Law, of course, one of the best West Coast producers. But real heads should know. This is my number 15, Cocaine Funk Upon the Rhyme. You're muted, try.
You hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear
Yo. Can you hear me?
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. The Brat Tat Tat Tat. Funkified. Great album. 9 songs. And still, to me, this is her best album. And production done by JD. You know how much I love Jermaine Dupri. And the first female rapper ever to go multi-platinum. Nobody did that before then. Not Queen Latifah, not Light. Nobody. And she was the first one with this album. She got many awards for this. And Functify, the title track was fire. It had like that Parliament influence sound to it, and for all y'all, give it to me. I love the remix for that. I wish he had added the remix as a bonus track because I prefer the remix more than the original joint.
Give it to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
you know what I'm saying.
I never liked the original version. I
Yeah,
never.
I didn't care for that. The remix should have been the bonus track. Um, Mind blowing with Mac Daddy, rest in peace
Yes.
to Mac Daddy from Criss Cross. He killed that joint, and I was a rare Criss Cross feature because they didn't do a lot of features, but definitely a dope album. Like I said, to me, it's our best album. You know, another tantrum. From what I remember, it was okay. I never bought it. I heard it once and I didn't care for it. All those other albums I didn't really care for her. So to me, she's a one album wonder, but still a great lyricist. I wish she had came out with more music and got away from Jermaine Dupri and worked with other producers because she didn't do that a lot. But that definitely she made history with this album. So
Yeah, you're right. Alrighty. My number 14. This is gonna be a controversial pick, and especially because a lot of people want this album or expect this album to be in the top 10. It's
uh-oh.
Common with Resurrection.
What?
Yeah. Let me explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. Now you guys should.
That's not in my top 10 though. So
It's not in your top 10.
no, it's on the list. It's just not. Matter of fact, it's gonna be number 13. So
Well, whoop de doo. Wow. Okay. So as much as I love Common, as much as I love songs like I Used to Love Her, Resurrection, Watermelon, and so on and so on. Surprisingly, this has never been one of my all-time favorite Common albums. Surprisingly,
really,
yeah,
you don't say.
yeah. Is it
Wow.
a good album? Yes.
Mhm,
Is it? Does it deserve the accolades? Yes. But here's the thing.
mhm,
I'm going to be very controversial, but I feel like people rate this album as high up because of I Used to Love Her. And don't get me wrong,
right.
I love that track. That might be one of my favorite Common tracks ever.
Mhm,
But he was still trying to get out from that "Can I borrow a dollar?" because this was pretty much a transitional album.
right.
And honestly, I prefer the much underrated "One Day It'll All Make Sense" over this
Mhm,
one.
right.
But like I said before, I never disliked this album. I just never thought it was like one of my favorites because
Right.
it had some good shit. Like I love Orange Pineapple Juice. Maintaining
Yes.
was dope. But there was some stuff I didn't really care for too much, or
Mhm.
like communism. It was alright.
What? You didn't care for that?
It was alright.
I love that song.
It was all right. Book of Life, respected. Not really one of
Mhm,
my. I thought it was a bit too long.
right.
But I can honestly say this actually did grow on me in years to come and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm,
and if I think I have the hold on, let me check. I think I have the reissue because you guys should know he got sued for his name
mhm,
like between like I think like either 95 or 96, one of them
right.
years. So
Right.
they have to reissue this album and stuff like that too. And the reissue is Common, not Common Sense.
Right.
And I think I have to find the album because you know how I put
Yeah.
my album in alphabetical order and shit too. So I'm not really trying to go through my CDs right now. I'm too lazy right now and shit. So,
Yeah.
but that's my number 14.
Number 14 for me is Coolio. It Takes the Thief. Classic album. We did a review on this on my channel. Check it out. It was dope. People sleep on this album, yo. It's always about Gangsta's Paradise. Gangsta's Paradise was dope. His most mainstream album though. This album was more G Funk. It was more street. Love the production on here from DJ Wino. You know, Fantastic Voyage, a big hit single in '94. Saw that video all the time on MTV Jams back in the day. I saw Coolio also this in concert this year that year when it came out in '94. He killed it at the Garden. Um, what's the joint? What's the joint? My Mom in Love with a Gangster. That joint with LaShawn was great. Love that collab. County Line. You know, what's the other joint I liked on here? What's the joint where you talked about robbing somebody's house? Was that I forgot the
Um,
name of that joint.
I know which one you're talking about.
Sticky Fingers, was that Sticky Fingers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
talk,
joint was fire. Candle Corn, definitely a banging album. You know what I'm saying? And I love his first two albums. My Soul, I didn't care for, but definitely underrated Coolio album, slept on. I love the album cover with him. Like it looks like he's about to like hop over a fence with like the uh the barbed wire and shit. And I saw that poster everywhere, in the Source magazine a lot. And phenomenal album, man. Definitely, Coolio's underrated. And he's one of those West Coast dudes that he didn't run to Dre for production. I remember he gave an interview on Vlad many years ago about that. I'm like, he's right. He was one of those West Coast artists at that time that he wasn't running to Dre for a beat. And he still managed it to, come off with a couple classic albums. So, salute to Coolio.
yes, sir. All right, my number 13 is Method Man with Takal. Very, very dope album. I gotta feel like this album kind of gets a little underrated in most
Mhm.
parts because people was like, cause people when this album came out and stuff like that, it was successful. It did manage to go gold and stuff like that too, and then it eventually went platinum like in '95. But with the success of Only Built for Cuban Links, Liquid Swords, Iron Man, Return of the 36 Chambers, it kind of overshadowed with this album and stuff like that too. And people will sometimes say, "Oh, this album is not as good as two." They didn't like the mixing. They didn't like
Right,
a lot of the shit. Which I kind of feel like it's kind of stupid because
right.
I feel like that's what really made the album unique because people expected
Mhm.
like another 36 Chambers 2 when it came to
Right,
Takao, but this one was like the strictly basement sound. Like he still kept it underground and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I love Biscuits. Songs like Biscuits was dope. Want the Blood Clot. My favorite track, Meth versus Chef.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? All the original All I Need. I love the original All I Need, but
mhm.
I prefer like the Razor Sharp remix with Mary J. Just like that dee or when you hear Mary
Ooh.
that effect and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like that fit the album more, in my
Yeah,
opinion. You know what I'm saying, but yeah, Mr. Sandman was pretty dope too. Yeah, this one is a very, very, very great album and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
I would definitely give it a chance for all my Wu heads. So this is like my number one choice right here.
Number 13, Common Resurrection. This is my introduction to Common. Like Soul by the Pound was dope. Great remix. I feel like that's what really got people noticing him. And then he drops, I used to love her, love that concept song, with the video and he talked about how, hip hop changed through the years and went through the gangster period and we went through the social conscious rap period and mainstream period with that, and just a brilliant song by Common. Watermelon was dope. Communism, one of my favorites. They were playing that a lot on college radio back then. Orange Pineapple Juice, some shit I wrote, and we got the first incarnation of Pop's rap, and he did that a lot where he brought his Pops on the album with him at the end of the end of his albums, and definitely thought that was dope. And no other artists was doing that at that time, like bringing on their parents on their albums and stuff, and that was dope, man. Definitely enjoyed this album. It was a classic. Definitely need to get this album, and that I think this album started his run. This solidified him in that time period, like Resurrection and um One Day It All Makes Sense, like Water for Chocolate, B. I think that solidified him. Those albums, you know what I'm saying, and he's another artist that has some. He has more than one classic to me. I don't think he just has one classic. I think he has multiple classics. You know what I'm saying? And it was great. Definitely one of the best lyricists that we have still, and I love it.
Dope choice, dope choice. All right, my number 12 is Beastie Boys with Ill Communication.
Mm,
Yes. This one was a very dope album and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Coming 2 years off, check your head. They pretty much like went a bit more jazzier, funkier with this one and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? They were still playing like their live instruments and shit.
Right.
Everyone knows Sabotage. Everyone knows that fucking track, but
Sabotage.
yeah.
I
But then when it comes to Get It Together, that's my shit.
love that. And the remix, Buck
Yeah,
Wild.
yes.
Woo.
Matter of fact, I don't even. When it comes to this album, man, there was some of the Beastie Boys' most interesting songs. Like I love Flute Loop, Do It with Biz
Yes.
Monkey, Scoop, B Boys
Fire.
making the Freak where they threw a shot at Russell Simmons on that track too.
Mm,
Um, yeah, this one is a very it's like crazy because everyone always knows Sabotage. Everyone always knows
mhm.
it, and I love Sabotage. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it was much more than that. And
Right.
little trivia though, they were influenced by Miles Davis, the Electric Period era when they
Mm,
made this album too, and you can kind of see it too. So
right.
yes, sir.
I didn't even like Sabotage when it came out. Like they picked that as the first single. I'm like, it's rock. I'm like, what they doing? Like you coming off of Check Your Head with, you know, pass the mic and so what you want, and then you do so I was like, are they trying to do what all of the
Well,
grunge? Mm,
I kind of get why they did that because
mm,
if you really listen to Sabotage musically, it's a punk song, and originally they were a
right,
punk rap group
right.
and stuff like that too. So, and they originally played their live instruments. So,
Mm,
Ill Communication was kind of like a back to the basics kind of album. So, I kind of got why
right.
they used that as a
I,
first single.
that album is higher on my list, but I didn't like Sabotage when it first came out. It took me a while to actually play it on the album because I would always skip it, and I was like, why they come out with this as the first single? Like you had so many other joints. You could have come up with Root Down first or Get It Together, and they came out with that. I just thought it was a different.
I wrote down. Oh,
Yeah, I
that
love
shit
that.
hard.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like looking back at it now, I'm like, oh, I see why they did it. But back then I was like, why they came out with this? But after hearing like other songs on that album, I'm like, yo, this is great. So, you know. My number 12 is OC Word Life.
That's much higher on my list too.
Boom Bap album. If you love Boom Bap, these are one of the Boom Bap albums I recommend people to listen to. With production by Lord Finesse and Buck Wild and DJ Augie, Organized Confusion. Great album. OC, another dope underrated lyricist that don't get a lot of praise and coming from DITC, he did his thing. I love this album. My Dukes, he had his mom on that track with him. That was fire. That was like an ode to his mom and Ozone banging. Time's Up. Everybody knows that track. That was the first single. I've heard different artists rhyme to that track. Styles P killed that beat when he freestyled to it years ago, and a timeless record. You know, what's another job? Born to Live.
Ooh.
Love that joint. And that sample was also used by Pete Rock and Seal Smooth the same year
A lot of people
for
use that sample too.
yeah, they used it for
Take
I forgot the name of the
take
track.
take you there.
Take You There, yeah, main ingredient the same year, and but just a great story was dope. Just a great album. I love OC's. A lot of his albums were fire. Just went under the radar. Jewels is a classic too. That's my favorite OC album. Is
Mm.
is this one and Jewels, and the other ones I've heard them over the years. I don't remember them. I got there's another one I got. There's another OC album I got. I think it's Star Child or something. I forgot the name of it. That one I got. That was cool. But he's definitely underrated though. As a lyricist, I felt like he was definitely underrated. And yeah, this definitely is a classic. I definitely need to get my hands on this joint.
Dope. Alrighty. My number 11 is Gravedigger 6 Feet Deep. You know,
Yes.
aka Nigga Mortis.
Mm.
Gravediggers consist of members RZA, Prince Paul, Fuquan, and of course, what's the name? Too Poetic and shit like
Rest in
that.
peace.
And rest in peace.
Yes.
This album, this was like a hip hop super to say the least. It was fucking fire album and shit. This album, a lot of people kind of consider this like hardcore breakthrough and
Hmm.
stuff like that, or in one of the most influential hardcore albums, which I'm
Yeah.
not really mad about that, honestly. Songs like fucking Diary from Madman, I like that song. Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide, which, in my opinion, it has actually my favorite RZA verse of all time. That first verse, he just went in.
Mm.
And I love that sample has been used by a lot of people. I feel like that was best used on that track. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide.
Ding, ding, ding.
Blood Brothers. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? The title track, I love that.
Mm.
Here Comes the Grave Diggers, Bang Your Head. I mean,
Bang your head.
this one album, in my opinion, and think about it. You have Sonic, De La Soul, and Wu Tang all in one album
Mm-hmm.
and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
The second album, what's that shit called? The Sick of the Shovel was
Yes.
it was cool, but
Mm-hmm.
it was with RZA executive producing. It felt like a continuation of Wu Tang Forever, like production
Right.
wise
Okay.
and stuff like that. And I love Wu Tang Forever, but at the same time, it needed more of like Prince Paul's influence, if that made sense. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I'm gonna get the album one and I'm gonna talk about that
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah, I never bought that one too. I gotta get that one.
yeah, I heard it like once, and I was just like,
You ain't give it.
no, I liked it, but not on the
Mm.
same level of this album, like Six
Yeah.
Feet.
Facts.
But yeah, this one 6 Feet Deep. That's my number 11.
Number 11 for me is Death Row's soundtrack. Murder Was a Case.
Murder was a
Classic soundtrack. A classic. Death Row dropped two classic soundtracks with Above the Rim in 93 and this. Great soundtracks. I love the mini movie that Snoop did. It was phenomenal to do a long form movie video for that song for Murder Was a Case, and the remix is dope by Dr. Dre, and you had artists like Jodeci on this joint. At this time, I think Jodeci was like being managed by Shug, them and Mary J.
trying to,
And huh?
trying to.
Trying to. Oh, okay. You had Jodeci on this joint. You had Natural Born Killers, the Dre and Cube collab that everybody was. The rumors came out. They're doing Helter Skelter album. We still waiting for that album. Never came out. All kind of problems with that. But they gave us a phenomenal song. I love the rock guitars on that and the beat. It was real grimy, real horrorcore like. What Would You Do? The Dog Pound, Lady of Rage, killed it. 21 Jump Street with Snoop Dogg and Trey D. One of my favorites you better recognize was Sam Snead. Love that beat. That beat is bananas. You put that beat in any system, it's knocking. You know, DJ Quick is on here, dollars and cents, taking shots at MC8 in the heated feud, the gang feud between MC8 and DJ Quick. And he performed that at the 95 Source Awards. That was crazy. Straight hair quick, permed out quick. I love it. Definitely killed it. You know what I'm saying? This is a phenomenal soundtrack, one of the best 90s soundtracks, one of the best soundtracks ever in hip hop you know thank you again, Reg, for um getting me the soundtrack. And I picked up the movie on DVD like years ago from FYE, and I love it, man. It's great. This is when artists were creative with their music. Like, why can't we get artists doing long form movie videos now? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It's crazy, but phenomenal soundtrack, man.
dope. Now we're on to the top 10. I got Pete Rock and C Smooth, the main ingredient, as my number 10. To me, their best album, in my opinion.
Mm,
I felt like they got a bit more creative with like their sample choices. The sound it was a bit more cleaner compared to Mecca and Soul Brothers. You can tell they got like more of a bigger budget and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This was when Pete Rock really was just crafting his signature sound and shit like that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Carmel City, I love that track.
Ooh.
Yes. Take You There, all the places I love. Check it out. Searching. I don't
Searching,
know.
searching,
Don't tease me. I was like,
searching.
well, man,
Fire.
this this album sounds like it could be made today. And shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like such a grown up album
Yeah.
and whatnot too. Cause and it's a shame too because when this album came out, Pete Rock and CL Smooth were just having issues and shit too. So
Yeah.
they ended up breaking up. You know what I'm saying? And CL Smooth started doing his solo thing, and then fucking what's his name? What's his name? Pete Rock did his fucking shit too. So yeah, man, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So main ingredient 1994.
So that's definitely way up on my list. I love that album. Number 10 for me. We have 10 now, Reg. We at 10.
Oh yeah,
Number 10 for me. My favorite album from this group, Gangstar Hard to Earn.
it's my number 9.
Love this album. Everybody says it's Moment of Truth. Moment of Truth was great. How come nobody mentioned this album? This album was just as great. Love this album. I love the iconic cover with the red background and looks like Premier's wearing like a hunter's hat or something.
Right.
Love this album, man. This album here was fire. It was fire, man. Like some of the joints on here, man. Mass Appeal. That was the first single. And I remember seeing that video the first time on Video Music Box. Ralph, shout out to Ralph McDaniels. That was phenomenal. Still one of my favorite Gangstar songs. Love Mass Appeal. Code of the Streets. Another banger. Love that joint. The Planet. There's just like giving the Guru's giving an ode to Brooklyn. And they wasn't from Brooklyn. Guru's from Massachusetts and Primo's from Texas, but they moved to Brooklyn later on, and he's giving a shout out to Brooklyn on that joint. I love that joint. Tons of guns, banging beat. You know, um, Now Your Mind, Suckers Need Bodyguards, and they added Dwick to this album, and Dwick was not made for this album. And I had to put these so-called hip hop heads in check years ago when they tell me, oh, Dwick was released on uh Hard to Earn. No, Dwick was a B-side for Take It Personal from Daily Operation. And they put it on the single because I remember buying the cassette single back in the day for Take It Personal, and the B-side was Dwick. It was made in 92, not 94, kids. 1992 that was made. And they end up putting it on Hard to Earn in 94. You know what I'm saying? So people got to get their facts straight before they come at me in comments and shit. Dwick was not made in 94, it was made in 92. You know what I'm saying? But a great album. Rest in peace to that. There's a lot of I'm saying a lot of rest in peace on for this one. There's a lot of artists that are no longer here that should be here right now. But rest in peace to Guru, one of the best. Premier, my top two favorite producers all time, Pete Rock. Classic album.
Yes, I definitely have to repeat the same sentiments when I talk about my number 9 pick. I definitely felt like this is Gangstar at their most darkest at this time and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I love songs like Mass Appeal, which man, that's that beat that did. I love that beat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Fucking blowing up the spot was dope. Sucking the Bodyguards was a fucking unique song. Tons of guns. You know what I'm saying? This whole fucking album is just a damn good album.
Yes. Number 9 for me, Outcast, Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music. Phenomenal album. I don't know why this album gets hate. I really don't. I feel like people's favorites are Aquemini and Stankonia, but we shit on this album. Why is that? Why do we shit on this album? This album was phenomenal. This album was phenomenal. Like New York radio was playing Outkast when this dropped. They wasn't hip. Not everybody was hip too Outcast though. I will say they got hip when ATLiens dropped. When Elevators came out, that's when they started checking for them really. But I do remember Hot 97 playing Southern Playlistic and Players Ball. There's definitely some bangs on here. Crumbling Herb, one of my favorites. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Fire. Get up, get out with the Goody Mob. Love that track, man. I love the deep message in that. The motivational message in that song. You know, what else? What else I liked on it? Funky Ride, real melodic. You got Sleepy Brown on that joint, killing it. Organized Noise did doing all the production. Five Night Classic, man. I love Okay, that's another group that they discography is solid. Minus Idlewild. Don't care for Idlewild like that. Even though I got the soundtrack. I didn't care for the movie though. But everything else, phenomenal. From this album to AT Aliens, Aquemini, Stankonia, Speaker Box Love Below, classics they got, man. I definitely want to see Outkast do a versus. If we could get them to do a versus, that has to happen for hip hop. It must. And I know I sent you all the news in the group chat that supposedly they were supposed to do a DJ Drama mixtape, and it never happened.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I didn't even know about that. I remember the track they did. I have the first two Drama albums, the Gangsta Girls joints, and they had all the storytelling on there with Marsha Ambrosius. I remember when that came out, but I didn't even know about the Gangsta Girls mixtape they were supposed to do. That's crazy. But yeah, we need Outkast one last time. I want to see them. We got to get them to do a versus or collab something because they have to do it for hip hop. It's a must. You know what I'm saying? They can't leave the fans hanging on the way that they left was just bad. Like we got to get them see them together on stage in some capacity. So to me, this is a classic, man. I love it.
dope shit, dope shit. Yes. All right. We got number 8. My number 8 is gonna be Scarface the Diary. This is actually my favorite Scarface album of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This when like he has songs like "Hand of the Dead Body," Jesse James, The White Sheet, all fucking stellar ass tracks and shit. This he was very he was very ahead of the time with some of his topics and flows. He was kicking on
Mhm.
this album and shit too. Um, this album to me, never got just due, but I definitely fuck with this album and stuff. Classic.
My joint was never seen a man cry till I
Yes.
seen a man die. I love that. That joint. I think that was like the first Scarface solo joint that Neil Gritty was playing for him because the beat is just fire. The video was eerie. Love that joint, man. I need to get that album again. I actually gave that joint. I got that album years ago to my homeboy, and I shouldn't have did that. I should have kept it, but yeah, that was a great album from Scarface. Um, Track number 8 for me is the Artifacts Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Love this album. Yo, I cut school for this album, bro. I cut school for his album. That's how much of a fan I was for Tame One and Elder Sensei from Jersey. Another Jersey, rap group that don't get their props. Just like Lords of the Underground and Outsiders. Classic boom bap album here, produced by T Ray. You got Buck Wild doing some joints for them. Redman is on here because he's cousins with Team One. Phenomenal album. Wrong Side of the Tracks. That was one of my favorite bangers from '94. You know what I'm saying? Love that joint. Flexi with the tech. Come on with the get down. Love that joint. Dynamite Soul. And I love the remixes too, because they had like some fire remixes. I think that the Dynamite Soul remix had Busta Rhymes on that one. And I want to say Mad Skills is on a remix. I think it might have been Dynamite Soul for Mad Skills, and there's another one with Buster. But they had some joints, man, way back, and they talking about old school hip hop and the way that they grew up in the culture on that joint. Lower the boom, where they just that's a smoked out joint. I think you would like that. smoked out joint, smoked out anthem. Um, heavy. What's my joint? Heavy ammunition. Really hard track. I love the EPMD sample on that joint. Phenomenal album. Five Mic classic. One of the most slept on hip hop albums ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very dope opinion and shit. Definitely respect it.
I did a review for that also. Check that out. I did a review on my channel like years ago for that.
Facts. Excuse me. All right, my number seven is gonna be Blowout Cone with by Digable Planets. To me, a very, very, very dope album and shit like that. Unfortunately, just became their last studio album because
Right.
at that time they were going through like a lot of label issues. They were doing some in-house beefing as well too. Because the label, they felt like this album was a bit too black and stuff like that, too pro-black and all that shit. Songs like I love songs like Ego, Jettin was dope and stuff like that. Dow Seven, Axioms of Creamy Spies. That was pretty dope too. Four Corners was nice. I love this fucking song and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Number seven for me, J. Rue the Damager. Sunrises in the East. Another boom bap classic produced by Premier. One of Premier's best produced albums, in my opinion. J. Rue, phenomenal lyricist, and he was definitely one of those special artists in the game at that point, and coming out with Come Clean, and that was like a different sounding joint. It had like sounded like some water dropping in the sink, and the beat for that, and the Onyx sample. Oh, heads up, cause we're dropping some shit. Love that. Phenomenal hip hop classic record. We had the original, one of my favorites as well. Real grimy beat, like the off piano keys on that. Real grimy. Love that joint. Brooklyn took it. Ain't the devil happy? But I love the scratching by Premier on that joint. Almost sounded like the way he was scratching is like a devil's voice, demonic voice on that joint. Um, the bitches. Five Mic classic, man. I had this on cassette. And I was like bumping this joint every day, man. Like I never got tired of it. I definitely need to get this on CD or vinyl. And yes, his first two. He's another one. His first two albums to me, phenomenal albums, man. Like love this album. I love Rap of the Math. Five Mic classic, man.
Yes, yes. Dope choice and shit like that. Um, number six, yeah, number six.
Yes.
I got Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music by Outkast.
Mm,
I personally feel like this album pretty much redefined the people's perception of Atlanta, especially when it came to hip hop and whatnot.
that's
I love songs like the title track was dope. Call It the Wild, Hootie Hoo. Ain't No Thing was pretty nice and shit. So yeah, man, I fuck with this album.
yes. My number six for me is Beastie Boys O Communication. Classic album. Man, I've this is my favorite Beastie Boys album. I definitely became a real Beastie Boys fan when this dropped, and I was a fan of theirs before. Like I knew a lot of their joints. License to Ill was great, and Paul's Boutique got some joints. Check Your Head was dope. And then when I heard this album, and I heard the joints like Get It Together and Root Down and Flute Loop. Do it, let's do it with Biz Marquis. Rest in peace, Biz. It was great, man. This was a great album. You know, Ricky's theme, love that instrumental. That's always been my favorite. Beastie Boys instrumental, phenomenal. Instrumental play on that. Um, Bobo in the corner, and at this time they were Eric Bobo was a part of their group, a part of their band, and we went on tour with them, and then I think when Cypress was on tour, he ended up leaving Beastie Boys and going with Cypress. That was part of the Cypress documentary. He talked about that. And yeah, Sabotage. I like the song now, many years later. You know, what's the other joint I like on here? Oh yeah, Sure Shot. That was one of my favorites. This was a 5 mic classic. Love this Beastie Boys album. My favorite Beastie Boys album. Rest in peace, MCA.
Yes, rest in peace indeed. All right, I think we're in the top five now.
Yes.
Okay, my number five is OC Word Life. This album to me is a fucking phenomenal album. You know, OC proving again why he's always like one of the best lyricists of his time. You
Hmm.
know, Point of Views was pretty sick. Time is Up, that's like a hip hop classic in my opinion.
Man.
Even the title track Breathe and Stop was like something I never would have expected, but you know, this whole fucking album is so very good. I love it.
Number five for me is Pete Rock and Seal Smooth, the main ingredient. 5 mic classic.
Yes,
Love Pete Rock's production. My favorite producer all time. Seal Smooth's wordplay was perfect with Pete's production. Real jazzy, real melodic. You got your R&B joints and hip hop joints. I gotta love that first single and Escapism, the Pete Rock solo joint, Fire, Worldwide with Robbo and Pete Rock killed it. I love that Worldwide joint. I Get Physical. Sun won't come out. Get on the mic. I remember reading the album review for this album in the Source magazine, and they compared Get on the Mic to Snoop Dogg's G's and Hustlers. They felt like Get on the Mic was like the answer track to G's and Hustlers. And I'm like, yo, that was dope. That was a great closing track, with the pianos and Peter. He had some dope lines. We had like one line, shorties love me like Jesus loved children or something like that. And this was dope, man. Like I definitely enjoyed it. Searching, like you said, in the flesh was fire. Supposedly, I heard that in the flesh when Pete was making that track, Biggie was there when he made that beat.
that's true.
You ever heard that?
You said what?
I said supposedly that when Pete was making the in the flesh track that Biggie was in the studio with them.
Oh, wow, I never heard that.
Yes. So supposedly, I don't know how true that is, but supposedly Biggie was in the studio with them. I'm like, they should have had Biggie to drop a verse on that joint, you know. But
Fact.
definitely fire. Tell me the title track. Every track on it was phenomenal, man. Definitely a 5 mic classic. We did an album review on my channel for this a couple years ago. Check it out. One of my favorite album reviews. Love this album.
Yes, that's another good choice. Another good choice right there. All righty. So number five. Yeah, number five. We got OC with the word life. You know, dope ass album, phenomenal album right here. You know, OC coming at you with that Time's Up, one of the best hip hop tracks of all time. You know what I'm saying? My Dukes was dope. You know, Let It Slide. I love Let It Slide, you know what I'm saying? Got Ahead. I mean, yeah, this album to me, just definitely shows lyricism at its best. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna definitely use this as my number five.
Number four, one of the best horrorcore albums ever. Gravediggers, 6 Feet Deep. Love
Wait.
this album. Hmm?
Number five.
No, we're number four.
Oh, then I just said my number five.
How you saying number five?
I
My,
probably said,
my number five was main ingredient.
yeah, I said my number five, Word Life.
No, we are number four.
Okay, so now we're at number four.
Yes.
Wait, can I just said, because I said
How you
Southern
saying?
Plastic Cadillac Music as my number six. That's in my number.
You skipped one, yo.
You said what?
You skipped one. How are you at number? We supposed to be at number four right now. How you at number four?
Okay, but you say you're number five, right?
Yes, that was Pete Rock.
Okay, well my okay, so I'm at number four right now, right? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, my fault, my fault. I got sidetracked by something else in my lifetime, my fault. But my number four is meaning. I mean, not meaning. Excuse me. Organized confusion, stress, the extension agenda. Um, very dope album to me. My favorite album that they've ever done. You know what I'm saying? Both Phil Munch and Prince Pro did their thing with this album. They were going through like a lot of shit. They were angry at that record label for not marketing them right. And then Prince Pro's dad had died at the point too. They were just losing like a lot of people. And so like that just explains how this album's like more darker and stuff like that in comparison to like the one before and the one after. Bring It On. That's actually my favorite track off this album. I loved Why, Straight Bullet. That's a very influential track. You know what I'm saying? I love the title track. The Large Professor remix of Stress 2. Y'all gotta check that shit out. So check it out. Yeah, man. This is my number four. Organized Confusion, Stress the Extension.
Number four, Grave Diggers, 6 Feet Deep. My favorite horrorcore album ever. Love the album cover. The production from the RZA and Prince Paul and Fuquan, and they all had like little um names in the group, the Undertaker and the Resurrector, and it was I love this album, man. Constant Elevation, phenomenal track with the eerie piano keys, and that song just sounds nutty as fuck, yo. And there's two different versions. There's a shorter version for that, and there's a longer version. I wish they had put the longer version on here, but definitely love that joint. Diary of a Madman, the first single, fire. Shabazz the Disciple demolished that track. I love that joint. 1-800 Suicide. Love that song. I was also in the Tales from the Crypt Demon Night soundtrack. Um, Mommy Was a Grave Digger, Bang Your Head, like a horrorcore rock rap joint. Two Cups of Blood. Love the mic play between Too Poetic and RZA. 6 Feet Deep, the title track, just phenomenal album from front to finish. Love this album. We will never get another side group like this again. Like this is definitely like RZA was smart. He capitalized off of the Wu Tang success and gave us this album. And man, this he did not disappoint. I remember going to the record store in August of '94 for this album, man, and it was phenomenal hearing it from the first time. I'm like, yo, I became an instant fan. I remember MTV doing a segment on horrorcore at that time because it was like such a big thing in rap at that point, and talking about the Gravediggers and the Flatliners, Almighty All is so phenomenal album, groundbreaking albums for hip hop.
I agree.
We also did a review on this on my channel. I think it was like last year, or year before last. Check it out.
Yeah, the year before last.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so number three is J. Wu the Damager, Sun Rises in the East. One of my favorite albums from the Gangstar Foundation. Primo did his thing with production on this one and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows Come Clean. That's like a fucking hip hop classic. I also love like songs like The Bitches, Brooklyn Took It, Mental Stamina with Afro Raw. You know what I'm saying? I love how even the album sound is like more of like a jungle, dark, gritty basement kind of feel to it and stuff. Jay with Damager definitely did his thing on the lyricism on this album and stuff like that. Talking about like racism, conspiracies, and shit too. So just my number three.
Number three for me. Do you see what I see? Every day is Warren G. Love this album. One of my favorite G Funk albums. I saw Warren G in concert of '94 as well. He killed it. This was my favorite summer album of '94. When this dropped in '94, I was playing this. I was playing Aaliyah's first album, Rest in Peace, Aaliyah. These two albums for summer '94, and as well as the Gravediggers, that was my playlist for summer '94. Just those three albums, and then Ready to Die and Craig Mack came out later, but phenomenal G Funk album. Warren told Suge Knight, "Kiss my ass. I don't need you. I'm going to the East Coast. I'm going to sign with Def Jam." And he gave us a 5 mic classic, and he saved Def Jam. He saved them. You know what I'm saying? Look, check out that Warren G documentary. He saved that label, and to have a West Coast artist save an East Coast label, that was a history in the making anyway. And he didn't have no big features. He didn't want to get Snoop Dogg and Dre, and he had Nate Dogg. That was his homeboy. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. That was his that was his Robin. You know what I'm saying? And he had Nate Dogg, and he had his own artists, the Twins and the Five Footers. Dove Shack all contributed to this album. Fire. You had Mr. Malik on What's Next. I loved his. That was a great collab with him and Mr. Malik. What's next? What's next? What's NXET? It's me. Going to the motherfucking G. Flowing with one little homie named Malik. Yes, everybody will just tweak. I love that track. Phenomenal. Warren G held his own on the mic, yo. Like he ain't no slouch. He
Fact.
definitely had a nice little flow for him, and did all the production on his own. And classic album, classic. Regulate the G Funk era. Love that track with the Michael McDonald sample. I keep forgetting. Love that. Do you see this DJ? One of my favorite tracks on here. So many ways. And you don't stop. Classic 5 mic album. We got to get Warren G. Got to get his props, man. When they talk G Funk and West Coast hip hop, you got to mention Warren G. It can't just all be about Dr. Dre and NWA. You got to mention Warren G. 5 mic classic.
Yes. My number two is Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a monumental album in hip hop history, in my opinion. Biggie definitely doing his thing, putting Bad Boy on the map, bringing that hustler's ambition, that gritty soundscape to East Coast hip hop. Songs like Unbelievable, The What, the title track, Big Papa. It was just a nice mixture of like mainstream and the underground authentic. So that's my number two.
Number two also is B.I.G. Ready to Die. Phenomenal debut, one of the best rap debut albums ever in history. And I remember going to get this at the Wiz back in the day, and phenomenal. I think his album dropped a week after Craig Mack's song because they both dropped in September '94. Great album. The production, we had Lord Finesse. Lord Finesse had a beat on here. Suicidal Thoughts. People forget that. Lord Finesse did a joint for this classic album. You know what I'm saying? And just the way that ended off the album was great, and we had to be continued type of shit, waiting for the double album to drop so we can hear what happened, and that was brilliant. They don't do that on albums anymore. That was brilliant. Whether it was Puffy's idea or Biggie's, it was brilliant to leave us on a cliffhanger with that song. Unbelievable. Produced by Primo, my favorite track on here. And as the story goes, Primo, he didn't have nothing left. It was like he was like I think the album was already done and they needed one more joint. Primo said he ain't had nothing. He cooked something up real quick. He threw the R. Kelly loop on there. It was fire. And Biggie killed that. I wish we had a video for that joint.
Bum, bum,
Oh,
bum.
boom, 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 bam, 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 bam. Oh man, fire! Big Papa with the Isley Brothers sample. He made that sample. He made that record. He made that record hot again. When people forgot about that joint, he resurrected that record from the Isley Brothers. Now then, everybody started using it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Between the Sheets, classic, was already a classic, but he resurrected that joint. The same way Run DMC resurrected Walked This Way for Aerosmith, Biggie resurrected that joint for Ozzy Brothers. It was great. Love the video. You know what I'm saying? I love the iconic lines he had. Cheese, eggs, and was it what he said? Cheese, eggs, and a steak. Welch's grape. They made that shit into like a dish now. That's a dish now because of Biggie.
Oh shit.
T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Yeah, I've seen that. They have that at restaurants where that's like the Biggie special. You know what I'm saying? They have that at restaurants now. You can go into a restaurant and order that because of this song right here. Iconic. The same way Guru said lemonade is a popular drink and it still is. They
Still
got
is.
that on they got that on t-shirts and on mugs because of what Guru said. You don't believe me? Google it. You can find merchandise with his lyrics on t-shirts and mugs because of that record. Iconic. You know what I'm saying? These are the legends that left us iconic stuff like that.
Not future.
You know what I mean? Everyday struggle, everyday struggle. Phenomenal track. Love that joint. Me and My Bitch. Fire. I would have preferred the other version with the Stevie Wonder sample. They need to release that. You can only find that on YouTube,
Wait,
but
wait. Me and my bitch has a Stevie Wonder sample.
it's another version to Me and My Bitch. The one that's on Ready to Die is not the original version.
Really?
Yes, you never heard it?
I heard the version with Computer Love sample. I never heard the. Let me look it up. Hold on.
The other version I heard. The other version they were playing before Ready to Die even dropped. And I thought that version was gonna be on the album, and for whatever reason, maybe they couldn't clear the sample. But that's the original version. The version that's on Ready to Die is not the original version.
Wow. Hold on. I'm gonna play it right quick.
Let me ask you.
That's
Oh, that
yeah,
version. I heard.
yes,
Oh,
that's the original version.
oh yeah. I heard that version a while back ago. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
and it's unreleased. They never released it. That joint, I love that joint, but I'll take the original joint. It's not bad, but I would prefer that version that you played. The what Method Man? What? Come on, we needed a video for this, yo. I don't care what issues Wu Tang had with Bad Boy, whatever. We needed a video for this joint. Phenomenal, one of the best hip hop collabs ever. And people still debating after all these years who had the better verse. Was it Method Man? Was it Biggie? I don't know. I loved it. I love both of them. So I think Method Man should have threw this joint onto Cal. You know what I'm saying? We should have threw that joint onto Cal. But this joint was great. One more chance. Again, I like the original joint. You had the classic remix. First things first, I pop a freak all the honeys, bunnies. What? Come on, man. They're the ones I like, but they don't get Nathan but penetration unless it smells like sanitation. Garbage. I turn my doorknobs. Hot throb ever, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Gucci down to the socks. Rings and watches filled with rocks. And my jam knocks in your midst. Come on, man.
It was
Biggie
peak.
destroyed that, boy.
Now the
If you
whole
never heard a Biggie record and you heard that remix, you could already tell his brilliance with the wordplay.
girls peak.
Classic remix, one of the best remixes ever.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? And they have another remix for that. They had like 3, 4 different remixes for that joint. There's another remix for that joint that was fire. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal record. Warning, classic. Ready to Die title track with the Ohio players sample that end up getting Puffy in trouble, of course, for that. Love that joint. Give me the loot. Machine Gun Funk beating motherfuckers like Ike beat Tina. What's love got to do? Come on, man. This man was a legend. Man. He's a legend. You know what I'm saying? With only 2 albums to his name, he became a on Mount Rushmore, top 5 of all time, easily.
All right.
I
And
don't know. I don't know of any artist that could drop 2 albums right now in this era and be on Mount Rushmore. They ain't got it. It ain't Conway. It ain't Benny. This man right here is like he before Jay-Z, he was the king of Brooklyn. It was Biggie. You know what I'm saying? 5 mic classic.
Facts. And my number one is Illmatic. My Nas. Is he number
Yes.
one too?
Of course, the hip hop Bible. Come on. The hip hop Bible. Right. When you pray at night, you praying to this album. This is the God right here.
Yes, this is the hip hop classic that every hip hop album wanted to be, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, yeah, it sounds like New York State of Mind, which is just like the
Bing, 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 bing,
lyricism
bing,
at
bing.
its finest. Yeah, songs like motherfucking It Ain't Hard to Tell. You have fucking Untitled Your Mind, One Love. It was
Yes.
10 tracks too,
Come on, man. Come on.
See, there was supposed to be more tracks on the album, like
Right.
of course, the song with Marty Mall and
Mhm.
shit like that.
Unreal.
Star Wars. I mean, that's
Mhm.
not Deja Vu. That's my shit.
Mhm. I think 10 was it was supposed to be 10. I think if we got more, maybe it wouldn't have been a classic like how it was with 10.
I feel you.
See, like I've always looked at albums like that. Like when you look at Thriller and they say, oh, there was more songs for Thriller. I think Thriller was supposed to be 9 songs. I don't think if you stretch it out to like 12 or 13, it would still be the classic that we got now.
Yeah, because they record like hella songs for Thriller too.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I think Quincy Jones like they did like not was it 900 songs or some shit?
Yeah,
That's unbelievable. To pick out those 9 out of 900 songs is Quincy Jones is a fucking genius. Cause I couldn't have did it. I would have picked the wrong songs for that album. For him to pick out every track on Thriller is a classic. It's a big ass hit. To pick that out from 900 songs, that is fucking crazy. That is crazy. Like no, that like what are the odds? What are the odds of doing that? Of picking out joints like Billie Jean and Beat It. The girl is mine. You know what I'm saying? The Thriller for that album for 9 songs, and you made a 900 joints for that. That's crazy. You
yeah,
know,
Tony Michael, man.
he definitely was a genius, man, to do shit like that. I couldn't have did it. You know,
Yeah, man, that's my fucking number one.
classic, the hip hop Bible, the hip hop Bible of all time. This will always be the hip hop Bible. When you're a hip hop head and you pray at night, you better be praying to this album. Not fucking Kid Cudi, not Kendrick. This album right here. As
I
far as I'm concerned, this is the hip hop Bible, man. Like this was a game changer. Before Nas, nobody was using 5 different producers for their albums, a debut album at that. You know what I'm saying? And he changed the game. Like when you hear albums now, it's because of Nas. When you see your favorite artist working with assorted producers, it's because of this album right here. For him to have Tip and Large Pro, LES, Pete and Primo on this album, Q-Tip, it was a game changer. You know what I'm saying? And we knew very little about Nas when this album came out to begin with. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know it was gonna blow up. We didn't know it was gonna be a classic. The album just came out, people heard it and they loved it, and then it got the praise. It didn't come out today and then an hour later, or people calling it a classic. That's not how it was. This took a while to become a classic. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't even sell. It was gone in a hip hop classic, and he didn't make no money from this. That's why you get it was written. It was written had a mainstream sound to it because he was going for that radio play. That's something that you know he knew what he was doing. He wanted to sell records. He was on Columbia Records. You have to sell records if you're on Columbia.
right.
You was not going to be on a major label like that, and you're not making no money for them. They would have dropped you, and they've done that with artists. Mike Geronimo was on Columbia. He got dropped.
That's
People
Mariah.
forget that.
That's
You know what I'm
Mariah.
saying? Big L was on Columbia. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was on Columbia and you wasn't making no money, they were dropping you. So he had to switch it up for his second album and go mainstream. But this album right here, this started it all. And this was when he was still in Queensbridge and he was dirt broke and he had the lyricism that never left. He's rich as fuck now and he still got that lyricism. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Nas, the GOAT, my favorite MC all time.
I agree. All right. I think I have about probably two or three honorable mentions. I
I
think.
got five,
All
but
right.
it's so many because '94 was such a great year. So
For real. My first honorable mention is the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. Definitely feel like that was a very underrated death row album and shit like that too. You know, had joined like the Murder Was a Case remix. You know, had What Would You Do and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Fire for the album. It even had some R&B joints like Jewel's cover of the Isaac Brothers Harvest for the World. Danny Boy's Come When I Call. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was very one of DJ Quick's best beats in my
yeah,
opinion. So that's my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention, I'm gonna have to go with Shaheem, aka the Rugged Child.
mm.
Yeah,
I
this
forgot it
was
was '94. I thought it was '93. That was '94.
yeah, it was '94.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Shaheem, doing his thing on the lyrical tip. He already made his rounds on certain Wu songs, BDKs, Big Daddy Kane's I'm Showing Proof song and stuff like that too. With this album, you have songs like On and On, Pass It Off, Move It Over There and stuff like that. So very dope joint. I'm more of a Lost Generation guy, but this one was very influential. And my last honorable mention, I'm gonna have to go with fucking let me see, Craig Mack's Project Funk the World. Yeah, very dope record right here and stuff like that. This was the album that really gave Bad Boy its like push, in my opinion. That flavor in your ear joint that was very dope. You know what I'm saying? When God Comes, I love fucking Judgment Day, Making Moves with Puff. This was a fire album. Those are my honorable mentions on top of my head.
Yes. My honorable mentions: Bone Thugs and Harmony, Creeping on the Come Up. Love that EP, and we had joints like Thuggish Ruggish Bone, huge hit for the love of money with Easy E, rest in peace, and Jewel, rest in peace. No Surrender, phenomenal EP. Love the production by DJ Unique, DJ Yellow on that. Um I got what else I got on here? I got MC8, We Come Strapped, one of his best albums. That really was the album that, as far as the East Coast and New York, that they started to recognize him when All for the Money dropped. That was a huge hit. Love that sample, and G's Make the Hood Go Round. I was fire. You had the Death Wish 3, Take Two with Me. The joint with Redman and Spice One, Nothing But the Gangster. Love that joint. That was definitely one of my favorite MC8 albums. You know, coming off the success of Straight Up Menace and from Menace Society. Curious George, A Constipated Monkey, underrated album. He never really dropped a lot of stuff for whatever reason, but again, he was another one that was on Columbia Records, and the album didn't sell. And guess what? They dropped him. But this album was phenomenal. I love the production by the Beatnuts, and he had joints like "Walk Like a Duck." That was the first single. Fire. Love the bass line for that. Uptown shit is the uptown shit. Yeah, check it on out. Lord Seal. Shout out to Lord Seal. Lord Seal was singing on that. I'm curious. Love that joint. Fresh out the box. Great production by the Stimulated Dummies and Beat Nuts. Prime Minister Pete Nice and DJ Richie Rich did I'm Curious, and phenomenal joint. I definitely need to get that album. House of Pain, same as it ever was. Love this album. The second album, House of Pain, and this album was fire. You know what I'm saying? You had On Point was the first single. Love that joint. You had Word is Bond. What else is on here that I like? It Ain't a Crime was dope. Where I'm From. Who's the Man from the Who's the Man soundtrack was also on here. Diamond D's on this album as well. Fire album. Slept on House of Pain album. I think people love Shamrocks and Shenanigans, but this album was highly slept on. My favorite House of Pain album. And I got BDK, Big Daddy Kane, Daddy's Home. Definitely a dope album. Not his best album, but I think it was his last good album though. Because after this, he came out with that horrible Veterans Day, and that was trash.
Mhm.
And this the production by Kane and Mo B did some joints on here. You had in the PJs, loved that joint with the Barry White sample. Show Improve, the posse joint with Shaheem and ODB, Source Money, Jay-Z's on that. Phenomenal joint. Um, Lyrical Gymnastics, I was fire. 340s in the bottle of Moet. That was banging. The way it's going down. Definitely a banging Kane album. I feel like at this point Kane was already like they were like already ignoring him. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't make his great stuff in the '90s, but I like those albums. I like Prince of Darkness. I liked Looks Like a Job for this album as well. It just wasn't promoted, and at this time it was all about gangster rap and Bad Boy, and I think a lot of those artists from like the '80s got slept on at that point. So he just came out with these albums at the wrong time, but definitely a dope album, and I like it.
Dope. All right. So that concludes our video right here and shit like that. I'll let you know what year I'm thinking about doing
You
next.
said 95 you want to do next or no?
Not at this second.
Or no? Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know the next video and stuff like that. Next week is going to be the soundtrack week. We're going to talk about soundtrack, which I know I'm going to text you the whole schedule for later on. I just have to do some
Okay.
laundry, stuff like that.
Oh, good.
With that being said, I will see y'all later. Thank you so much for doing this. Let me try.
Yes, no doubt.
I'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.